me first introduce myself. I am Dr. Kumudini Pati, an independent researcher associated with the Center of Women's Studies, University of Allahabad. And today we are discussing the subject of women's studies, and we will be taking up paper number 15, The Stories the States Tell. Now we will discuss Zohra Sehgal, the rebel, actor, choreographer and dancer. Most of you who watch Hindi films must be familiar with the name of Zohra Sehgal. She was an indomitable, rebellious woman. She was a remarkable character and had many facets to her personality. She was courage and grace rolled into one. A great dancer, choreographer, an actor, and a connoisseur of art too. And it was not just by chance that she lived up to the ripe old age of 102. Actually, she had an indefatigable spirit, and she enjoyed life as it came, with its vibrancy and color. About her work, she always said, "I enjoy it. It is my life." She was a pupil of the great dancer, choreographer, Pandit Uday Shankar. And in the field of acting, she was a pupil of Prithvi Raj. She was a totally self-made woman. She had reached the top only through her dedication to the arts, and her career spanned more than 6 long decades. Actually, Zohra Sehgal was called Sahibzadi Zohra Mumtazullah Khan, and she was born in Uttar Pradesh in the district of Saharanpur in North India. She was born on 27th of April 1912 in British India, and her character was almost like a tomboy. She used to be climbing trees and playing outdoor games. Sadly, she lost her mother when she was very young, and then she was left in the care of her aunt. So she left with her aunt and her sister to study in Queen Mary's School, Lahore. But this was under the traditional parda system, that is burqa. She was taken by her aunt to the Mary Wingham Ballet School, which was in Dresden, Germany, to learn dance there. And Germany was a totally different place for her. It had a new culture. She said that after being in burqa for such a long time, it was some kind of a culture shock for her to see women going out in minis in Dresden. But she took everything in her stride. Zohra was the first woman from India who could get admission to this institution, and she started learning modern dance, which she learned for 3 long years. After that, she got a break when she met Pandit Uday Shankar there. Actually, Pandit Uday Shankar had gone to Europe, and he was doing a performance, Shiv Parvati, which was seen by Zohra Sehgal. She went up to Uday Shankar and she met him and discussed with him his dance. And do you know, Pandit Uday Shankar invited Zohra to join his troupe in Japan. she accepted this unique offer happily, and in 1936 the entire course of her life was changed by this decision. Zohra started dancing with Pandit Uday Shankar's troupe in Japan, in Europe, and also in the US as a leading dancer. And then she also started working with a French dancer called Simki. She went to America, and there she had an opportunity to visit Hollywood. Zohra joined the Uday Shankar India Cultural Center, which was situated in Almora, and then she started drafting the syllabus for students of dance. There, in this company, which was the Uday Shankar's ballet company, she started working, and she said that this was one of the most enjoyable periods of her life. Of course, while she was there, she also met Kamlesh, who was also a choreographer and dancer in his own right, and she married him in 1942. But unfortunately, the center could not carry on, and it had to close down. Then Zohra was in a fix. What would she do? She and Kamleshwar had to decide to go back to Lahore. There they set up their own institute, which was called the Zohras Institute of Dance. Actually, it was because of the communal tensions in pre-independence India that she had to again take a decision to leave Lahore and go to Bombay. In Bombay, I will tell you that Zohra was always looking for something new, and she wanted to enter the field of theatre. So she joined Prithvi Theatre in 1945. Her own sister Uzra Bhatt was already working in Prithvi Theatre as an actress, and then Zohra in Prithvi Theatre started acting and journeying to different cities with the group. She started performing several plays. Many of them were openly advocating communal harmony. For 14 long years, she worked in Prithvi Theatre on a salary of 400 rupees. She says she had learnt a lot from Prithvi Raj Kapoor. She used to fondly call him Papa Ji. And there are several accounts in her book. It's an autobiographical book which she has written, in which she says that she had a very deep emotional bond with Prithvi Raj Ji, and many interesting facets of their discussion through letters have been acknowledged and discussed by her in this book. Then she joined the IFTA, the Indian People's Theatre Association. This was a very progressive theatres association from which many stalwarts joined Bollywood later. She started doing many plays there. She acted in IFTA's first film, which was Dharti Ke Laal. Dharti Ke Laal was actually about the Bengal famine. And then again she acted in another play which was called Neecha Nagar. Neecha Nagar was also supported by IFTA, and this was directed by Chetan Anand. This film was internationally acclaimed, and it also got an award which was called the Palme d'Or Award at the Cannes Film Festival. Now, I will tell you about the other films in which she acted. One was Ibrahim Al-Qazi's Din Ke Andhere. But as you all know, her personal life was quite sad. Zohra Sehgal lost her husband when she was quite young and her children were small. Actually, she recounts in her book that her husband once retired into his own room, telling her not to disturb him for 24 hours. And Zohra did as she was told. She just let him be for 24 hours, and when the door was opened, alas, Kamleshwar was dead. It was a very sad day for her because she didn't know what had gone on in his mind. Some people said Kamleshwar used to go into long spells of depression. People said he sometimes used to feel that he didn't have a place in the world, and whatever were his contributions to dance, to music and to acting were actually not being given the regard that was due. Some other people said that he couldn't take the rebel Zohra Sehgal as a partner, and that was the cause of his depression. Nobody knows what it was, but finally Zohra became a single woman. She again left for Delhi and started working as a director in the Natak Academy. She worked as a director in the Natak Academy after her husband's death and worked as a single woman, as a single parent of a son, Pavan, and a daughter, Kiran. Her daughter, Kiran, is very well known today as an Odissi dancer who has received the Padma Shri award. Zohra had a wonderful relationship with her daughter. She says she had always respected her daughter's independence and left her to do whatever she liked and take up the values which were important to her. Zohra never interfered in Kiran's life, but after whole days of work, both of them would get together, sit on the dining table and enjoy a good dinner. Zohra used to laugh a lot, and her daughter Kiran says she has spent lots of good times with her mother. She also had a son named Pavan, and both the children Zohra wanted to be independent in their thinking, so she told them they could choose any religion they liked, whether it was Hinduism or Islam, but both decided to discard these religions. Zohra herself was an atheist. She was an extremely energetic actress. In 1962, she got the British Drama League scholarship and she went to London, and there she lived for 10 years. If you talk to Zohra, she would always say she was almost a nobody when she reached London. She didn't know what to do, and she had to almost start from a scratch because nothing was pre-decided, nothing was known. She had to start afresh, but it was fortunate that she met the great Bharatnatyam dancer Ram Gopal, and he took her as a teacher in his school in Chelsea, and there she started teaching the Uday Shankar style of dance. Zohra had been playing roles in different theatre adaptations, and she also did one like that in The Rescue of Puffles, which was a theatre adaptation of Kipling's story for the British television. She did 4 episodes of Doctor Who in 1964-65, and she also anchored 26 episodes of the BBC production Padosi 1976 to 77. Then in London, she joined the Merchant Ivory production and started acting there in a play which was directed by James Ivory in 1982, and this started bringing her to the limelight. She started getting roles, and one of the roles that she got was as Lady Chatterjee in a television adaptation of The Jewel in the Crown. This was in 1984, and this was also very highly acclaimed. She went ahead to appear in The Raj Quartet, The Jewel in the Crown, The Long Duel, Bhaji on the Beach, and so many other films. She was very young at heart and very unorthodox in her thinking. Actually, Gurinder Chadha also did a few films with her, of which people must be more familiar with Bend It Like Beckham and Bhaji on the Beach. Zohra says that she used to start herself devising some method of making the film more interesting, and Gurinder Chadha has this to say, that it is sad Zohra Sehgal has passed away, because I was thinking of having a longer period of time with Zohra to do more films with her. She used to be the life of Gurinder Chadha's films actually. Now when we come to her other facets of her life, then we see that Zohra was a very interesting person and she loved poetry. She not only recited poetry, she used to perform poetry, and this used to be in immaculate Urdu, Punjabi and Hindustani. Each of her words would be so full of expression, and every verse used to be full of passion. People who have heard her poems being performed in big programs know that she was a great connoisseur of art and poetry, and she used to perform the poems and other songs of Faiz Ahmad Faiz, Muhammad Iqbal, of Ali Sardar Jafri and others. She drew the listeners into a patriotic fervor, into romance, into grief, into lament, into happiness, tenderness of a child and reflective musings. And she used to give the kind of bhavas and sanchari bhavas which were even difficult for dancers. She used to often say her face was not so beautiful, but in the lines on her forehead you could read everything. Zohra was invited once to Pakistan to do a great performance in poetry, and this was named Ek Sham Zohra Ke Naam, an evening with Zohra. This was her very acclaimed performance, and she recited the poem Abhi Thome Jawan Hoon by Hafiz Jalandhari. This poem is a very long poem, and she almost embodied the words that she was reciting. Zohra Sehgal really was Jawan. She also acted in the play Ek Thi Nanny, Once There Was a Grandmother. This was in 1993, and this was appreciated a lot because she acted with her own sister Uzra, and it was such a strange coincidence that both the sisters who had got separated, Uzra being in Lahore and Zohra in India, had a meeting in this adaptation, and she was so happy to act. It was like the two sisters meeting again after partition. Now, you could never expect Zohra to do what was expected from other women. She was not like other women at all. She was very unorthodox and a non-conformist. She used to shock people sometimes with her actions and her responses. She had a personality which could never be fitted in any frame or any form. She was a very graceful woman, you can say, but she would do everything that a male can do. For example, when she married Kamleshwar, not only Kamleshwar was a Hindu, he was 8 years younger to her, and there was a lot of opposition in her family on this marriage. Zohra decided that she must do what she wanted, and she put her foot down. She told her parents that there was no going back. Zohra says in her book, once her father was convinced that Zohra was not going to turn back, he decided that it was better both got married. But he told Zohra quietly, you leave this city and get married somewhere else. You get married somewhere else, not in this city. And Zohra decided that it was okay with her. So when she was going with Kamleshwar, her father again came and asked her quietly, do I have to come with you? And Zohra said, no, as long as I have your blessings, I think it is okay with me. And she left and married Kamleshwar. She was an atheist in the beginning, but later on she became an agnostic. She used to say that religion actually gives strength to those who are weak. And so she said, because I have the strength enough to stand up myself, I don't need any religion. It is generally used by priests to corrupt others and for their own vested interests. So she became an atheist, and later on she became an agnostic. And she used to say, why do you call God a he? Actually, God could be a she, or even could be an it. So she used to jokingly sometimes say, in the computer of your brain, when you search for God, you might have to find him or her in the microchip. Now, as we all know, Zohra was a very famous actress in Bollywood. She had acted in many Hindi films with actors like Amitabh Bachchan, with Govinda, and with others like Ajay Devgan or even Ranbir Kapoor. Like she had done Cheeni Kam, Veer Zara, and also Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, Chalo Ishq Ladaye, and Sawariya. And she did some choreography in Guru Dutt's film Bazi and in Raj Kapoor's film Awara too. In the 40s and 50s, she had acted in Rahagir, in Dharti Ke Lal, Neecha Nagar, and Heer. In the 60s and 70s, she was doing Doctor Who, Long Duel, The Expert, The Guru, Mind Your Language, and in the 80s and 90s, she had also given many memorable performances like The Courtesans of Bombay, Tandoori Nights, Partition, The Bhaji on the Beach, Amma and Family, and Dil De Chuke Sanam and Dil Lagi. And after the year 2000, she had done some good films like Bend It Like Beckham, Kabhi Khushi, Kabhi Gum, Kal Ho Na Ho, Veer Zara, Cheeni Kam, and such other films. Now all of you know, and I needn't assert on this again, that Zohra was famous not because she had links with people who were high and mighty. It was through her work, through her dedication, and through her perseverance that she was able to reach the top. And so she received many awards and tributes. But it is sad that the government of Delhi did not give her even an apartment for which she had applied. Zohra was the recipient of the Sangeet Natak Academy Award in 1963. She got the Padma Shri in 1998, the Kalidas Samman in 2001, the Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship for Lifetime Achievement in 2004, the Padma Bhushan in 2002, Padma Vibhushan in 2010, and she also received IIFA Special Award for Cinema at 100 in 2012. She was given the Ladli Media Award in New Delhi. This is a United Nations Population Fund Award which she was conferred with, and this was because she was the epitome of gender sensitivity. This she got in 2007. As I said, her daughter mentioned once that they had applied for a flat for Zohra Sehgal, and the government of Delhi gave a ludicrous explanation for not giving the flat. They said that actually if you had applied before the age of 60, you could have got it, but because now Zohra is above 60, she does not qualify for getting a flat in New Delhi. And Zohra's daughter says, Kiran says, that it is strange that in old age, when my mother needed a house for herself the most, she was denied that, even though she was a Padma Vibhushan. When Zohra passed away, the entire Bollywood and even people who were related to dance, to drama, to choreography, all were saddened. It was on 10th July 2014, at the ripe old age of 102, that Zohra passed away. She left us in a big void, and great actors and literary figures, for example Irfan Habib or the actor Amitabh Bachchan, were really saddened by her passing away. They prayed for her and said it is a great loss to art and culture that Zohra is no more. So we salute the memory of Zohra Sehgal, the very spirited actress, choreographer and dancer who has left a long message for us, a sort of a kind of you can say something to bank upon when we are doing work in the field of art and culture. Thank you.